The night was quiet in the Gobi Desert. The giant radio dishes stood like metal flowers, pointing at the stars. They had been listening for 200 years. They had heard nothing but silence. Dr. Yuna sat alone in the control room. She was tired. Her coffee had gone cold hours ago. The screens showed the same thing they always showed: static, noise, the random sounds of the universe. She had spent 15 years of her life listening to nothing. She was about to go home when her computer made a sound she had never heard before. Yuna looked at the screen. Her heart stopped. The pattern was clear. It was not random. It was not natural. Someone had sent a message across the stars. She called Director Taiwu immediately. He arrived within the hour, still wearing his sleeping clothes. When he saw the data, his face went pale. "This is real," he whispered. "This is actually real." The message came from a star system called Kepler 442. It was 40 light years away. The signal was old. It had been traveling through space for 4 decades before reaching Earth, but the message was not friendly. It was not a greeting. It was a warning. Yuna had worked for 3 days to translate it. The aliens had used mathematics as a base language. Numbers are the same everywhere in the universe. From numbers, she built words. From words, she built meaning. The message said, "Do not broadcast. Do not reveal yourselves. The Hollow Ones are listening. They will come. They will harvest. Stay silent. Stay hidden. This is your only hope." Taiwu read the message 5 times. Then he sat down heavily in his chair. "We have been broadcasting for 300 years, he said. "Radio signals, television shows, everything. It all goes out into space." Yuna nodded. She understood what he was thinking. Our signals have already reached them. Whoever the Hollow Ones are, they already know we exist. Taiwu assembled a team. He chose the best people humanity had. Jisoo was a language expert. She could find patterns in anything. She had learned 12 human languages before she turned 20. Now she would learn alien ones. Dongwu was a soldier. He had fought in 3 wars and survived them all. He was not a man who knew fear. Taiwu made him head of security. Hayami was a scientist. She was only 28 years old, but she had already won the Nobel Prize for physics. She understood things that most people could not even imagine. Together, they studied the warning message. They tried to learn everything they could about the Hollow Ones, but there was not much information. Just fear. Just a desperate plea to stay quiet. "Maybe they are wrong," Jisoo said one night. "Maybe the Hollow Ones are gone. Maybe they died out long ago." Hayami shook her head. "The message was sent 40 years ago. That is not long. Civilizations do not die in 40 years. Then they are coming," Dongwu said. His voice was calm. "We should prepare. But how do you prepare for something you cannot understand?" Humanity had never met aliens before. They did not know what the Hollow Ones looked like. They did not know what weapons they had. They did not know anything. 3 weeks passed. The world learned about the message. Some people panicked. Some people prayed. Some people said it was fake. Governments argued about what to do. Nothing was decided. Then the ships came. Yuna was the first to see them. She was still in her station in the Gobi Desert when her instruments went crazy. Something had entered the solar system. Something big. She looked up through the window. The night sky was changing. New stars were appearing. But they were not stars. They were ships. There were hundreds of them. They were beautiful in a terrible way. Their bodies were made of crystal that caught the light of the sun and broke it into rainbows. They moved without sound, without engines that humans could see. They simply glided through space like fish through water. The Hollow Ones had arrived. Taiwu tried to make contact. He sent messages in every language. He sent mathematics. He sent music. He sent images of humans smiling, humans waving, humans reaching out in friendship. The Hollow Ones did not answer. Instead, they attacked. The first city to die was Tokyo. A beam of light came down from the sky. Where it touched, things simply stopped existing. Buildings, cars, people, everything turned to dust in an instant. 2 million people died in less than a minute. Then New York. Then London. Then Beijing. Humanity fought back. They launched missiles. They sent planes. They fired every weapon they had. Nothing worked. The Hollow One ships had shields that bent space itself. Missiles curved away before they could hit. Bullets fell to the ground. Nuclear weapons exploded harmlessly in empty space. Their trajectories twisted by invisible forces. In 3 days, Earth's military was broken. The great armies of humanity were dust and memory. Billions of people were dead. The survivors ran. They hid in caves, in bunkers, in underground tunnels built for nuclear war. They became rats hiding from cats. They became prey. Yuna did not survive the first week. A Hollow One strike hit the Gobi facility. She died still sitting at her station, still listening to the stars that had betrayed them. But Taiwu survived. So did Jisoo, Dongwu, and Hyemi. They gathered in a bunker under Mount Baekdu, on the border between what used to be North and South Korea. "This is the end," someone said. "Humanity is finished." Dongwu stood up. His uniform was torn. His face was burned. But his eyes were still fierce. "No," he said. "This is not the end. This is just the beginning. They think we are weak. They think we will break. They are wrong." He looked at each person in the bunker. Soldiers, scientists, ordinary people who had lost everything. "We are going to fight," he said. "And we are going to win. Not today, not tomorrow, but we will win. Because that is what humans do. We survive. We adapt. We overcome." Outside, the world burned. But in that small bunker, something else was burning too. Hope and rage. The demons of Earth were waking up. 6 months had passed since the Hollow Ones came. The surface of Earth was a graveyard. Cities stood empty. Roads were cracked and overgrown. The sky was gray with dust and ash, but humanity was not dead. They lived underground, in tunnels and bunkers and forgotten places. They lived like shadows, moving at night, hiding during the day. They watched the crystal ships patrol the skies, and they waited. Dongwu had built an army from nothing. It was not a proper army. It was farmers and teachers and children who had grown up too fast. It was old soldiers and young dreamers. It was anyone who could hold a weapon and refuse to give up. They called themselves the Resistance. The Hollow Ones called them something else. Jisoo had been studying the alien communications for months. She had learned their language, or at least enough of it to understand what they said. One day, she came to Dongwu with a strange look on her face. "They have a name for us," she said. "The Hollow Ones. They call humanity the demons of Earth." Dongwu frowned. "Demons? Why would they call us that?" Jisoo sat down. She looked tired. Everyone looked tired these days. "I have been reading their history files," she said. "The Hollow Ones are old. Very old. They have existed for millions of years. They have seen many species rise and fall. They have watched civilizations grow and die." "So?" Dongwu asked. "So they have never seen anything like us?" Jisoo's voice was quiet. "They showed me the records. Most species take 1,000,000 years to discover fire, another 1,000,000 to build cities, another 1,000,000 to reach space. Evolution is slow. Progress is slow. That is normal." She looked up at Dongwu. "Humans went from caves to nuclear weapons in 10,000 years. We went from horses to spaceships in 200 years. We went from simple radios to quantum computers in 100 years. We are fast, Dongwu said. So what? We are not just fast. We are impossible. Jisoo pulled out a tablet showing alien data. The Hollow Ones have been watching us for a century. They saw our signals. They studied our history. And they became afraid. She showed him a graph. It showed human technology over time. The line went up slowly at first, then faster, then almost straight up. They calculated where this line goes, Jisoo said. In another 100 years, humans will have technology that matches theirs. In 200 years, we will surpass them. In 500 years, we will be so far ahead, they cannot even imagine it. Dongwu stared at the graph. They came to stop us. Before we could become a threat. Yes, they call it harvesting. They have done it before, to other species that grew too fast. They come, they destroy, they leave. No witnesses. No survivors. No competition. But they failed, Dongwu said. We are still here. Jisoo nodded. And that terrifies them. They expected us to die quickly. They expected us to surrender. Instead, we hide. We fight. We steal their technology and learn from it. Every day, we become more dangerous. In another bunker, Hayami was proving Jisoo's words true. She had captured a piece of Hollow One technology. It was a small thing, a device no bigger than her hand. The aliens used it for communication. Hayami had spent 3 months taking it apart. Their technology is beautiful, she told Taiwu. It is perfect. Every part is exactly where it should be. No waste, no mistakes. Can we copy it? Taiwu asked. No. Hayami smiled. We can make it better. She showed him her work. She had combined the alien device with human electronics. The result was ugly. Wires stuck out everywhere. Parts were held together with tape. It looked like a child's toy compared to the elegant alien original, but it worked. And it did things the alien device could not do. They think in straight lines, Hayami explained. They improve slowly, one step at a time. They have been using the same basic technology for 1,000,000 years, just making it slightly better each time. And humans? Taiwu asked. Humans think in circles. We jump. We skip. We have crazy ideas that should not work, but sometimes they do. The Hollow Ones cannot predict us because we do not follow rules. We make new rules. This was humanity's secret weapon. Not guns. Not bombs. Creativity. In the flooded tunnels under Bizen, a teenage girl named Sujin proved this truth. She was only 16. Her family had died in the first attack. She had nothing left except anger and a computer she had built from garbage. Sujin had been a hacker before the invasion. She broke into systems for fun. Now she broke into Hollow One networks for survival. It should have been impossible. The alien security was millions of years more advanced than anything on Earth. But Sujin did not attack the security directly. She found the gaps, the places where the Hollow Ones had never thought to look, because no one had ever looked there before. One night, she sent a message to the Resistance. I am inside their network. I can see everything. Their ship locations. Their patrol schedules. Their weaknesses. She had done in 3 months what Hollow One experts said would take 1,000 years. In the ruins of Seoul, an old man named Minho was building weapons. He was 73 years old. He had been an engineer before the war. He had built bridges and buildings. Now he built things that killed. The Hollow Ones had left wreckage everywhere. Broken ships. Damaged weapons. Useless technology that they had thrown away. Minho collected it all. He studied it. He combined it with human tools. His first weapon was a rifle that fired bolts of energy. It should not have worked. The physics were wrong. But Minho did not care about physics. He cared about results. The rifle worked. It could punch through hollow one armor. It gave humans a chance. "You are a genius," Dongwu told him. Minho shook his head. "I am just stubborn. I refuse to believe anything is impossible." This was humanity. Stubborn, creative, impossible. The demons of Earth. In orbit? The Hollow One commander watched the reports with growing worry. The harvest should have been finished by now. Instead, human resistance was increasing. Every week, more alien soldiers died. Every week, humans found new ways to fight. The commander was called the Prism by humans. It was a being of light and crystal, ancient beyond human understanding. It had overseen 1,000 harvests. It had never failed. Until now. "Increase the attacks," the Prism ordered. "Kill them all. Leave none alive." But even as it gave the order, the Prism felt something it had not felt in a million years. Fear. The demons were waking, and they were angry. 1 year after the invasion, humanity had changed. They were no longer victims. They were hunters. The resistance had grown. It spread across every continent, through every tunnel and bunker and hidden place. They moved like ghosts. They struck without warning. They disappeared before the Hollow Ones could respond. Dongwu led the military operations. He had lost his left arm in a battle 3 months ago. Now he had a new arm, built from alien metal and human engineering. It was stronger than his old arm. It was a symbol of what humanity had become. "We cannot beat them in open war," he told his commanders. "So we will not fight an open war. We will fight our war. The Demon's War." The Demon's War was dirty. It was cruel. It was nothing like the clean battles the Hollow Ones expected. Humans attacked supply lines. They poisoned water sources. They set traps in ruins. They used the bodies of dead aliens to spread disease among the living. They did things that made even other humans uncomfortable. "This is wrong," a young soldier said one day. "We are becoming monsters." Dongwu looked at him with cold eyes. "Monsters? The Hollow Ones killed 6 billion of us. They erased our cities. They hunted our children. If being a monster is what it takes to survive, then I will be the worst monster they have ever seen." The young soldier had no answer. In her flooded bunker, Sujin continued her work. She had mapped the entire Hollow One network. She knew their secrets. She knew their fears. "They are not united," she reported to Taiwu. "The Hollow Ones have factions. Some want to finish the harvest quickly. Others think it is too costly. They are arguing about whether to stay or leave." "Can we use that?" Taiwu asked. "Maybe, but there is something else." Sujin's voice dropped. "I found files about other species. Ones the Hollow Ones harvested before us. There were hundreds of them. All dead now. All erased from history. What happened to them? They surrendered. Every single one. When the Hollow Ones came, they gave up. They thought if they cooperated, they would be spared." Sujin's eyes were hard. They were wrong. The Hollow Ones took them anyway. Used them for experiments. For food. For things I cannot translate. Taiwu closed his eyes. "So surrender means death." "Surrender means death," Sujin agreed. "But fighting means something else." I found one more file. It was hidden, encrypted, almost deleted. A report about a species that fought back. Really fought back, like us. What happened to them? Sujin smiled. It was not a nice smile. The Hollow Ones do not know. The report ends suddenly. The fleet sent to harvest them never returned. No signals. No survivors. Just silence. They won? Maybe. Or maybe they destroyed themselves along with their enemies. Either way, the Hollow Ones are afraid of it happening again. That is why they call us demons. We remind them of that species, the one that refused to die. This information spread through the resistance like fire. Humanity was not alone in fighting back. Others had done it before. Others had made the hollow ones bleed. The idea gave people strength. It gave them hope. It gave them permission to be the monsters they needed to be. Yunji was one of those monsters. Before the invasion, she had been a singer. She had performed for millions. Her face had been on billboards across Asia. Now her face was scarred, burned by alien weapons, and she led a cell of fighters in the ruins of Busin. She was good at killing. Better than she had ever been at singing. I used to make people happy, she told her team one night. Now I make aliens dead. Strange how life changes. Her cell had a mission. Free the humans held in a Hollow One processing facility. The aliens kept thousands of people there, preparing them for harvest. No one knew exactly what harvesting meant, but the screams from the facility told them it was not good. Yunji led 30 fighters through the sewers. They came up inside the facility walls. The guards never saw them coming. The battle was short and bloody. Yunji killed 7 aliens herself, using a blade made from their own crystal technology. When it was over, 3,000 humans walked free. "Who are you?" one of them asked her, looking at her scarred face with wonder. "I am Yunji," she said. "I am a demon, and I am here to take you home." The freed prisoners joined the resistance. They told stories about Yunji, about the demon woman who walked through fire to save them. The stories spread. The legend grew. Meanwhile, Hayami had finished her greatest work. She called it the virus. It was not a disease for bodies. It was a disease for machines. A piece of code that could infect Hollow One technology and destroy it from inside. Their systems are connected, she explained to the resistance leaders. Everything talks to everything else. Ships talk to weapons. Weapons talk to shields. Shields talk to engines. One infection spreads to all. How do we deliver it? Dongwu asked. That is the problem. We need direct access to their main network. That means we need to capture a ship, intact, with its systems still running. Everyone was quiet. Capturing a damaged ship was hard enough. Capturing a working ship was almost impossible. I will do it, Jisoo said. Everyone looked at her. She had been quiet for weeks, studying, planning, thinking. I have found the weakness, she said. The Hollow Ones think they are perfect. They think their security cannot be broken. But Sujin has shown us that is not true. If we can get close enough, if we can be unexpected enough, we can take a ship. How many people? Dongwu asked. 200 volunteers. It will be a one-way mission for most of them. Suicide, someone muttered. No, Jisoo said firmly. Sacrifice. There is a difference. Suicide is giving up. Sacrifice is giving everything so others can win. She looked around the room. I am not asking anyone to die for nothing. I am asking them to die for humanity. To die so their children can live free. To die so the Hollow Ones learn what it means to fight demons. 200 volunteers stepped forward within the hour. They knew they would probably die. They went anyway. That was humanity. That was what made them demons. The mission was set. The virus was ready. The final battle was about to begin. In orbit. The prism felt the change in the wind. Something was coming. Something dangerous. The demons were no longer just waking. They were rising. And they had teeth. The mission began at midnight. 200 humans crawled through ruins and tunnels toward the landing zone. They carried weapons made from stolen technology. They wore armor made from alien crystal. They moved in silence, like shadows with teeth. Jisoo led them. She had changed in the past year. The woman who once studied languages in quiet libraries now commanded soldiers in war. Her hands, which had once held books, now held guns. "Remember the plan," she whispered to her team. "We do not need to win. We just need to survive long enough to upload the virus." A small ship had landed near what used to be Daegu. It was a scout vessel, only lightly armed. The Hollow Ones used it to search for hidden human bases. Tonight it would search for the last time the attack came from all directions. Humans burst from the ground, from buildings, from places the aliens never thought to look. Energy weapons lit up the night. Crystal armor shattered. Alien bodies fell. The Hollow Ones fought back. Their weapons turned humans to dust. Their shields blocked most attacks. But not all attacks. Minho's weapons had grown stronger. Some shots got through. Jisoo ran toward the ship. Soldiers died around her. Friends she had known for months became dust and memory. She did not stop. She could not stop. The ship's door was guarded by 3 aliens. They were tall, made of light and crystal, beautiful and terrible. Jisoo shot one. A soldier beside her shot another. The third one killed the soldier before Jisoo put a blade through its center dot. She was inside. The ship was strange. The walls were smooth crystal. The floors were light itself. Nothing looked like technology she understood. But Sujin had taught her what to look for. The main computer was in the center of the ship, a pillar of pure white energy. Jisoo connected her device. The virus began to upload. Outside, the battle raged. More Hollow Ones were coming. The human force was dying fast. Of 200, only 50 remained. Then 40. Then 30. How much longer? Dongwoo shouted through the radio. He was outside, holding the line. His metal arm firing energy bolts into the alien ranks. 2 minutes, Jisoo answered. "We do not have 2 minutes." "Then give me 2 minutes." Dongwoo smiled despite everything. He had always admired Jisoo's stubbornness. "Everyone," he commanded, "hold the line. No retreat. No surrender. Give her the time she needs." The remaining soldiers formed a wall of flesh and fire around the ship. They knew they would die. They stood anyway. 1 minute passed. Humans fell like leaves in autumn. The Hollow Ones pushed forward, step by step, over the bodies of their own dead. Dongwoo took a wound to his chest. He kept fighting. Another wound to his leg. He kept standing. A third wound to his shoulder. He kept firing. 30 seconds, Jisoo reported. The Hollow Ones reached the ship door. A soldier named Ji-hoon threw himself at them, giving his body to buy a few more seconds. Behind him, a woman named Hana did the same. Then a man named Taeyang. 10 seconds. The first alien entered the ship. Jisoo shot it without looking, her eyes fixed on the upload progress. 5 seconds. Another alien. Another shot. Another body falling. Upload complete. Jisoo pressed the button. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the alien ship shuddered. Its lights flickered. Strange sounds came from its walls, like screaming, but not quite. Outside, the attacking Hollow Ones stopped. They looked at each other in confusion. Then, one by one, they began to fall. The virus was working. It spread from the scout ship to the nearest patrol ships. From patrol ships to warships. From warships to the command station in orbit. Every system connected to every other system. Every system infected by the same disease. The Prism watched its fleet die. Screens went dark. Ships went silent. Weapons failed. Shields collapsed. The magnificent crystal vessels that had conquered 100 worlds began to fall from the sky like broken glass. "What have you done?" the Prism demanded, broadcasting on all frequencies. Jisoo answered. She was bleeding from 3 wounds. Most of her team was dead, but she was smiling. "We are demons," she said. "You should have listened to the warnings." But the virus did not stop at Earth. Hayami had designed it to spread further, much further. The Hollow Ones used faster-than-light communication to connect their empire. Hundreds of star systems, all linked together in one vast network. They thought this made them strong. They were wrong. The virus rode the communication beams like a wave riding the ocean. It spread from Earth to Hollow One colonies, from colonies to homeworlds, from homeworlds to fleets in distant space. Within hours, the infection reached every corner of the Hollow One civilization. In a bunker under Mount Baekdu, Hayami watched the reports come in. Hollow One systems were failing across the galaxy. Ships crashed into planets. Stations lost life support. Cities went dark. "My God," Taiwu whispered. "We are killing them all." Hayami's face was pale. Yes, billions of them. Maybe trillions. An entire civilization. Yes. Taiwu looked at her. "Can you stop it?" Hayami was quiet for a long time. "No. Even if I could, I would not. They came to kill us. All of us. Every man, woman, and child. They would have erased humanity from existence." She turned to face him. Tears were running down her cheeks. "I am not a monster. I did not want this. But when someone tries to kill your entire species, you do not ask about morality. You do whatever it takes to survive, even if it means becoming the demon they feared." Taiwu had no answer. What could he say? She was right. She was also wrong. Both things were true at the same time. On the surface, Jizu and the 17 survivors of the mission watched the alien ships fall from the sky. They burned as they fell, like 1,000,000 shooting stars. "It is beautiful," someone said. "It is terrible," someone else answered. Jisoo said nothing. She watched the fire rain down and thought about the price they had paid. Friends dead. Innocence lost. A civilization destroyed. Dongwu limped up beside her. His armor was shattered. His metal arm was sparking. He was covered in blood, some his own, some alien. "We won," he said. "Did we?" Jisoo asked. Dongwu thought about that. "We survived." Sometimes that is the same thing. In orbit, the prism sent one final message before its systems failed completely. It broadcast to every species in the galaxy, to everyone who could hear. "The demons of Earth have risen. They have destroyed us. They will destroy you too, if you give them reason. Remember this day. Remember what they are capable of." Then silence. The prism died. The Hollow Ones died with it, and humanity stood alone among the stars, covered in blood and ashes, wondering what they had become. 3 years after the war ended, humanity began to rebuild. The world was broken. Cities were ruins. Fields were ash. Of 8 billion people, fewer than 500 million remained. But they were alive. Against all odds, against all reason, humanity had survived. The first year was the hardest. Food was scarce. Medicine was scarcer. People died from hunger, from disease, from wounds that never fully healed. Winter came, and many did not see spring. But humanity had faced extinction and won. The hard winter was nothing compared to that. Don Wu organized the rebuilding. He was not a builder by nature. He was a soldier. But soldiers know how to work together, how to solve problems, how to keep moving when everything seems hopeless. "We will rebuild," he told the survivors. "Not the same world we had before. A better one. A stronger one." His metal arm had become a symbol. Children pointed at it with wonder. Adults nodded with respect. It was proof that humans could take anything, even alien technology, and make it serve them. Jisoo took over the work of contacting other species. The galaxy was vast, and humanity was not alone. The Hollow Ones had terrorized many worlds. Now that terror was gone. The first aliens to reach out were small, timid creatures from a nearby star system. They had hidden from the Hollow Ones for thousands of years. Now they emerged, blinking in the light of freedom. "We watched your war," their ambassador said. "We saw what you did. We are afraid of you." Jisoo understood. "We are afraid of ourselves sometimes. But we did not want this war. We did not start it. We just ended it. Will you end us too? If we make you angry?" Jisoo thought carefully before answering. "We hope not. We want to be friends, not enemies. But I will not lie to you. If anyone tries to do what the Hollow Ones did, we will stop them. Whatever it takes." The ambassador trembled, but it also nodded. "That is fair. Terrible, but fair." Other species came after that. Some wanted friendship. Some wanted protection. Some just wanted to see the demons up close, to understand what kind of creatures could destroy a million-year empire in a single day. Hayami avoided these meetings. She spent her time in her laboratory, working on new technology. Not weapons this time. Medicine, energy, tools to rebuild instead of destroy. "I killed trillions," she told Minho one day. The old engineer had become her closest friend. He understood guilt. "You saved billions," Minho answered. "Human billions. Is that enough? Does it balance?" Minho was quiet for a long time. "I do not know. I do not think anyone knows. But I think you can spend your life trying to make it balance. Building things that help. Creating things that heal. Maybe the scales will never be even. But you can try." Hayami wiped her eyes. "Thank you, old man. You are welcome, young genius." Yoonji became the voice of the new humanity. Her scarred face appeared on screens across the rebuilt communication networks. She spoke to Earth. She spoke to the stars. "We did not choose to be demons," she broadcast. "The Hollow Ones gave us that name because they feared what we could become. They were right to be afraid. But fear is not all we are." She paused, letting her words travel across the light years. "We are also builders. We are dreamers. We are artists and farmers and teachers and parents. We create beauty. We help each other. We love." Her voice hardened. "But we also remember. We remember what it felt like to watch our world burn. We remember the screams of the dying. We remember the price of survival. So hear this, all of you watching in the dark. We offer friendship to those who come in peace. We offer help to those who need it. We offer trade, alliance, cooperation. But to those who would threaten us, who would try to harvest us, who would make themselves our enemies, remember what we did to the Hollow Ones. Remember that we are demons. And choose wisely." The message spread across the galaxy. Some species were reassured. Some were terrified. Both reactions were correct. Taiwu did not live to see the rebuilding. He died of his wounds 1 month after the war ended. But before he passed, he left a message for the leaders who would come after him. "We became what they feared," his recorded voice said. "Now we have to decide what we become next. Demons. Or something better. I hope you choose better. I hope you make me proud." His words were carved into stone at the center of New Seoul, the first city rebuilt from the ashes. Every child learned them. Every adult remembered them. Sujin was not forgotten either. The teenage hacker who had cracked the Hollow One network, who had died with her finger on the transmit button, became a legend. The first human starship was named after her. The Sujin's light dot had launched 3 years after the war, carrying a crew of 100 toward the ruins of Hollow One space. Their mission was exploration, not conquest. They wanted to learn, to understand, to ensure that the Hollow Ones were truly gone. Jisoo watched the ship leave from a mountain in what used to be Korea. The stars were clear that night, clearer than they had been in years. The dust was finally settling. The skies were healing. "Do you think we did the right thing?" she asked. Dongwu stood beside her, his metal arm gleaming in the starlight. "I think we did the necessary thing." "Right, and necessary are not always the same. Will history forgive us?" "History is written by survivors. We survived. We will write our own history." Jisoo smiled sadly. "That is not really an answer." "No, but it is the truth." Dongwu turned to look at her. "We are what we are, Jisoo. Humans, capable of great love and great destruction. Beautiful and terrible. We cannot change that. We can only choose which parts we show to the universe." Above them, the Sujin's light grew smaller and smaller, a tiny spark against the infinite dark. It carried human hopes and human fears into the unknown. It carried the legacy of demons who had learned to dream. On Earth, children were being born. The first generation that would never know the war. They would grow up in a world of ruins and rebuilding, of stories about monsters and heroes, of warnings and promises. They would inherit the stars. And they would have to decide, just as their parents had decided, what kind of humanity they wanted to be. The galaxy watched and waited. The demons of Earth had awakened. They had proven their terrible power. Now, they had to prove something else. That they could be more than monsters. That they could be worthy of the stars they had inherited. The story was not over. It was just beginning. But for now, on a quiet mountain under a healing sky, Jisoo and Dongwu stood together and watched the future fly away into the dark. "We shouted out to the skies," Jisoo said softly. "And the demons heard us." Dongwu nodded. "We were the demons all along." "Yes," Jisoo agreed. "And now we have to learn what demons do when the war is over." She did not have an answer yet. None of them did. But humanity had always been good at finding answers. Even impossible ones. Even the ones that should not exist. That was their gift. That was their curse. That was what made them demons. And that was what would make them something more.